Yep, 5:35. Okay, calling this meeting to order. The first item on the agenda, this is the Finance Committee of May 10th, 2021. Getting ready for the council meeting later tonight at 7. First one is the HHS American Rescue Plan Act grant, no match required, $1,011,000, etc. Lindsay, you want to tell us about that?
Sure. Thank you, Councilor Allen. So this grant is awarded to HHS, Health and Human Services. It's a COVID-related spending grant. The funding period is 2 years, and this funding will support the salaries of newly contracted positions, professional services for resource referral coordinator, as well as the program assistant. And funding will also be used to purchase equipment and supplies for mobile testing for vaccinations for COVID-19 and maintain mobile vehicles and equipments to conduct testing and/or vaccinations.
So it's all related to COVID vaccines and Helen's area?
Correct.
Okay, good. Any questions, anybody on this?
Yeah, Counselor, I have a question.
Okay.
Sure. Thanks so much, Counselor Allen. So this, I understand that the area around the services it's purchasing, but it's also creating 2 new positions.
So it says newly contracted. So I don't know if that's a City of Springfield employee, or it might just be contracting services from an outside vendor for the referral coordinator, resource referral coordinator, and program assistant. So those are the 2 folks that will be running the program.
Okay, but what is the program?
The program is they're programming for vaccines and testing, COVID mobile vaccines and mobile testing.
Okay, well, we can dive into it more with the commissioner at the main meeting.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks for your questions, Councilor Letterman. Okay, anyone else have a question on that item? All right, seeing none, let's move on to the East Forest Park Library donation. We got Matt here and we have Pat here. So one of you guys want to take the lead on that?
And we've also got Molly, the one who started.
Oh, Molly. Sorry, Molly. I know you got number 4. You're sorry I missed you on that one.
Well, I'll defer to Pat Markey, the president of the Springfield Library Foundation.
So I think, I'm not sure what we're doing here. You can tell me, Tim. I know at the main city council meeting, we're going to be asking the councilors to accept the $150,000, which is part of the pledge. What the Library Foundation is, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, is it's sort of a receptacle for bequests and donations of people who want to give to the Springfield Library system. And the Springfield Library Foundation helped raise some money for the East Forest Park Branch Library. What we have and are prepared to present to the city tonight is a check for $150,000, representing the most recent installment. And this, I want to make clear, is it's not coming out of it may be partly coming out of people on the foundation's pockets, but it's really donations from people in the neighborhood, wealthy people, not wealthy people, big businesses and little businesses. They all go into this 150. And the actually 1.2 million that has been contributed to date towards paying off the bond, really, for the East Forest Park Branch Library.
And what was the total commitment, Pat? Was it 2 million?
The total is 2 million. We're up to about 1.2. Matt has the precise figures to the decimal point. We're going to be announcing, this is a teaser for another donation that'll be coming in not too long from now.
Excellent. So this is how we do. We just go over the items on the finance agenda for tonight's meeting. And you want to introduce Matt or have Molly speak or whatever?
Matt's the executive director. Matt is the one who makes all of us look good. He does all the work. He did dots the I's, crosses the T's, make sure that the budget numbers match, etc. So take it away, Matt.
Thanks, Pat, and thanks, Tim. So the Promise Realized campaign is, the commitment is to raise $2 million to pay for a goodly portion of the 9.4-ish million East Forest Park Library. We have from our donors to the city, this represents the third payment, direct payment from the foundation to the library. We've given 500,000, 500,000, and now 150,000. So that gets us to 1.15. There's an additional $75,000 that we secured through Senator Lesser's office that went directly to the city, but that is actually part of our commitment to the campaign. And we will continue to pay this forward as funds come in from our donors and make the library whole. So we're delighted to do this. The Library Foundation is an incredible organization. It's a privilege to be a part of it, and we have an amazing board of directors who are committed to making the library and Molly's work even better for the city. So thank you.
Sounds good, Matt. Thank you. Molly, did you want to say anything? Or you can.
Well, it's just to thank the Library Foundation for all of their support. They provide a lot of operating support for us, and the capital campaign, all the work that's going into that, and it keeps on going. So donations are still welcome, correct, Matt?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're at 1.4 officially right now, so we have another 600,000 to go. And it should be noted that the Library Foundation contributes about another 400,000 to the city library on an annual basis.
That's great.
For materials and other purposes.
Well, we can finish. Thank you, Matt and Pat and Molly. Molly, do you want to just do number 4, Springfield City Library donation?
Sure.
Then I think we'll have all the library stuff done. You guys can.
Great. These are all donations, other than the $30 donation that came from the Friends of the Shutesbury Library. The other donations from the Springfield Day Nursery, Williston Academy, Holyoke Springfield Head Start, and there's one from the Springfield Library Foundation, but a $7,500 one, but that was funding that came from People's Savings Bank. That the foundation is acting as a fiscal agent. And all of those donations went to help support the Reading Success virtual conference that we had last month. So we've had other donations for that, and that's all helping to pay for the conference.
Great. Great. Any questions on that from anybody? Well, I don't see anything else. Budget transfers, I think, are in Chris's and Pat's department. So if you're all done with the library stuff, thank you for coming. You're welcome to stay on or not.
That's fine.
See you this evening.
You all soon.
We'll
Bye.
see you at 7 or a little after 7. All right.
And Mel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we'll go back to number 3, increase in funding, police CIT/HOPE grant. No match required, 20,000. Lindsay, is that you?
That is me, yes. So this is just an increase in funding for a police grant for the crisis intervention team. The new contract, the new grant award is for $100,000. And this grant is for mental health crisis services that go along hand in hand with the police department, jail diversion, programming, and funds will be used for overtime expenses for this crisis intervention team and professional training.
Okay, and is it going to the police organization?
Yes, this goes to the police department.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions here from anybody?
I do, Councilor Allen, just a quick question.
Okay,
Thank
go
you,
ahead,
Chair,
Victor.
Councilor. Hi, Lindsay, good to see you. As you know, I said before, I think this program in and of itself, it's absolutely a wonderful thing. I can tell on my own professional work experience that it works. Being there in real time, how a lot of times things can be diverted, thus decreasing the pressure on the hospitals and the economic pressure that comes from it. My understanding is that the BHN is now has the crisis work and the overnight shift as well. Is this money going to be used towards some of that or not?
So this funding specifically is actually going to be used to send 25 officers and supervisors to a special training, along with 5 dispatchers, which will attend a special 8-hour dispatch training. So that's specifically what this is going to be used for.
Okay,
Okay, but I thought it was for the crisis intervention you mentioned.
It is. The 25 officers are part of the crisis intervention team.
so the people going to be trained are from the crisis intervention.
Right. It's the annual
Oh, but
mental
they're-
health. It's the annual mental health and law enforcement conference that they're
Okay.
going to.
Okay. Is that conference going to be a week or
It's in Massachusetts. Is it going to be what?
how long is it going to be?
8
Because I thought
hours.
the money was being used for the budgeting of the clinicians, but this is for a conference.
No, this is used for overtime for police officers and training.
Also, it's going to be multiple purposes. OT.
So this $20,000 increase is specifically for the cost of the training. This special
Okay.
this training I just mentioned. Yeah.
Right, and how are we funding those extra clinicians in the overnight shift?
The extra what?
Clinicians on the overnight shift.
I'm not sure, sir. I would have to find out.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Davila. Anybody else on this one? Seeing none. Okay, we'll move along to item 5, budget transfer within a department, 200,000, DPW. Looks like it's you, Chris.
Yep, thank you, Counselor.
There you-
We are proposing to transfer $200,000 from our salary line item into our OTPS account, into 2 accounts. Number one, last year, when we were severely short employees, especially during yard waste season, we had to hire temporary labor. So 120,000 of that will go to balancing out that account. Those bills for that labor have already been paid, so we need to replenish that account. And then the other piece of it is $78,000 for vehicle supplies for our older vehicles. We have been able since then to order new vehicles. However, they're an 11-month lead time. So the older ones that are taking up a lot of time and money for repairs. So we're moving $120,000 to cover temporary labor and $78,000 to cover overages in our repairs of our vehicles.
Okay. Let me ask a question first, Chris, and I'll open it up. So that 200,000 is going those 2 places. How does it,
Yeah.
and it's coming all from within DPW's budget, just different parts of it?
Yes, all within the enterprise fund budget, yes.
And does it look like you'll be all right from? You
Oh,
got
yeah.
6
Yeah,
weeks
one of
left.
the issues we had last year is we were severely short employees. And so, we had to go, we were short being able to hire employees. And we had a number that were out on comp that are paid for separately. So we do have a lot of money left over in our salary account.
So you'll be okay to the end of the year?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah.
All right, great. All right, that was my question. Anybody else have a question for Chris? All right, seeing none. Thank you, Chris. I
Thank
don't know if
you.
Before you leave, if you're planning to leave now, just one question about the agenda tonight. The petitions used to be something that almost just flew by on the council
Yep.
agenda. And in recent months, it's become a bigger deal. And we talk about a lot of petitions one by one, and occasionally we find a glitch or something. Will you
Yep.
be on the meeting tonight?
Yes, I will
Or-
be. Yep.
Okay, great.
Because I
That's
know
great.
three of them were tabled last week.
Yeah,
So yeah, no, I'll be taking care of those.
okay, excellent.
Beautiful.
If you
Thank
don't have
you.
anything else on this, you're welcome, do go about your business and we'll
As
see
much
you.
as I like you people, I'm gonna go have supper.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for your report and we'll see you at 7.
Thank you.
All right, that gets us to, let's see, it gets us to Pat Sullivan with 3 items in a row, 6, 7, and 8. Budget transfer of 120, budget transfer of 111, budget transfer of 91. So Pat, we're up to you. Moving over to you.
Great, thank you, Counselor. The first one for 120,000. This is for our yearly program where we go through the entire city, cleaning all the gateways, the major parks. And we were able to create savings from our different divisions of the park department to provide the 120,000. In the past, finance has taken this out of reserve for contingency, but just with delays in hiring due to COVID and so forth, we have the money within our salaries and salary and wage account.
Great. So all of these, is this all like parks to parks or is it crossing
Yes.
over facilities
Nope,
too?
it's all all going into the different parks across the city.
Okay, great.
The
Why don't we
second
do-
one for
yeah, why don't we do all
111,
three?
that is to balance, that's at the facility side of the department. Again, from salary and wage savings, and this is to balance the snow removal account on that side. We do all the plowing for police department, fire station aprons, library, city hall, and so forth. And then on it's for the balance needed for just the general maintenance of our landscape services for those buildings to get through June 30th.
Okay, and in both cases, it's one part of your organization moving money to another part, so you're not.
That's correct. It's all staying from the facilities division over to the facility professional service line items for those items.
Okay, and then the last one, I have one question when we're free, but the last one,
The last one is for the carriage house, 91,505. Due to the COVID, we were not able to do any functions this past year. And historically, we have a revolving account and that pays for the salary and the benefit packages for those employees. So for the first time, we've had to request a transfer from free cash over to this operation due to COVID.
so this one is not within this one you're taking your.
I would have to lead on Lindsay for that, where in the city government that money is coming from.
Okay, so on the other two, the previous two that you talked about, Pat, all the money going and coming from places was all within your organization.
That is correct.
But on this one, free cash is being used to help out. Lindsay, how's that look on the free cash side?
So after this transfer, our free cash will start it at 7.3. We used $1 million to reduce the tax rate. By reducing it again by this 91,000, we'll be at 6.2 million. 6.2.
So the picture is still pretty good. This is
It is, yeah.
Okay, great. So those are my questions. Counselor Davila, Counselor Letterman, anyone else have any questions for Pat?
I have a quick question, if I may. How are you doing, Patrick?
Good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you
Pat,
too.
on item, thank you. Item number 6, 120,000. Is any of that money going to be used for the cleaning of Acorn Park?
No, Acorn Park is on a regular schedule for cleaning. The debris that was in there was from, unfortunately, winter dumping. During that time period, the crews had gone out and cleaned the park. That park sits in a wetland of our city. And we've done designs for the past 30 years, and just due to the cost of being in a wetland, it's very expensive to rebuild. So we are getting new estimates as we speak. We met with the neighborhood residents that would like their park upgraded.
Yep.
And we should have another week those budget numbers, but it's never a cheap process when you're
Right.
dealing with wetlands and so forth. So we are taking them through that process.
Right. You're right, because at the end, we need to do something that is sensible and something that they want in that neighborhood. But I just wonder if we could pay special attention, Pat. Summer is coming, you know how vegetation is, it grows very quickly. I went down and helped in the cleanup, and we still have a lot of stuff around the fence that you need like special equipment to do. And I could see that being overgrown very quickly.
Sure, we'll take a look at that, Counselor.
Do we have any kind of do we have money to do that if need during this summer season?
We'll make it, we can make that happen, Counselor.
You can make that happen. Okay, I will be good. Excellent.
I just want to remind you, it is a wetland, so it's not, we're gonna clear it, but there really won't be much use of it because the courts would still be cracked and so forth.
No, I understand that, but still, it's
sure.
We don't have a jungle there, and it's
yes, I agree.
All right, thank you, Pat. God bless.
You got it. Thank you, Counselor.
Thanks, Counselor Davila. Anything else from you or Counselor Letterman or anybody on the call? Okay, hearing none, that gets us to number 9, bills of prior year, various departments, $2,100, a little more than that, but Lindsay, is that you?
That is me.
Okay.
Sorry, I exited my screen here. Okay, so there's 2 bills of prior year.
We don't need to go to incredible detail on this. If they're
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Okay, I found it.
to you, it's not a lot of money, and if
It's not a lot. I'm just trying to pull up the.
Is this from the year before last? Is this like
This is from
fiscal year 20 to fiscal year
20. Yes, I'm sorry. There's more than 2 invoices. It's for DPW, elections, and procurement. And it just looks like for services rendered in FY20 for elections, it was some small bills for office supplies, and then procurement was, it looks like an advertisement for the Republican, totaling $2,107.27.
Okay, and that's 9A and B, right?
For the
Are you just talking about number 9, or does that cover A and B as well?
let me see what A and B is.
It says bills.
Oh, yes. One is the CAFO cert, and then one is the actual invoices.
So it's all in one. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
All right, time for discussion for that. Any questions? Counselor Davila, Counselor Letterman, anybody else? So my question, Lindsay, is so these bills are 10 months old or 12 months old or something. Where do they go in the meantime? Like, they just get lost in somebody's desk or something? I'm not concerned about it.
I know.
It's late to have bills from a year ago.
It is. And honestly, I held off on these for a little while, just as long as the vendor was okay with, waiting for payment. I wanted to wait for a couple meetings because we usually have a couple every meeting, and I wanted to put them all together just in one order.
Right.
But sometimes the invoices are never received. Sometimes, like you said, they get lost on someone's desk. They get overlooked. Obviously, sometimes if there's no PO to pay it, somebody puts it to the side because they're like, oh, this is a bill of prior year, and then it takes a little while to get to us. So there's a lot of different reasons that these are around. It happens often because we close out our purchase orders at the end of the year. So if you don't know exactly what invoices you have coming in after June 30th, if you have that PO, that purchase order closed out, then we have to obviously come to council for the bill of prior year. So it's not ideal, but it happens.
Okay. Any other questions on that? Seeing none, as they say, let's move on to item 10, order approving contract over 3 years for the lease purchase financing of school department computers. Is that you, Lindsay, on that one, or, oh no, here's Paul Foster. Here we go.
Yep, Paul.
Hello, Paul Foster. Right, good timing, good timing.
Hey, Counselor Allen, nice to see you all. Thanks for having me. So this is, I think, our 6th or 7th year, where we moved, 6 or 7 years ago to leasing the computers we provide to our students. That's when we started our one-to-one program. And so this is just, we've done this kind of every year we come because we get the best pricing if we do the lease to purchase contract on a 4-year basis. The only real significant change this year from prior years is just the number of devices. So we're buying a larger number of student and staff devices. I think 6,250 student laptops and 1,100 staff. And the reason is we were previously, when I have come before you before, we were doing a 1-to-1 program in 3rd to 12th grade. And we were doing a 2-to-1 ratio in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. With the onset of remote learning, we switched and we're now doing 1 laptop for every student, kindergarten to 12th grade. And so that obviously increases the number we need to buy annually to refresh the fleet. And the same thing with staff. We've made the switch to basically all staff in the school department use laptops so that they're able to work from anywhere. And so that also increases a little bit the number of staff devices we buy annually. So that's really the only change from sort of the previous 4-year contracts I've come before you on previously.
Thank you. You said 1,100, sorry, 1,100 staff devices. How many students did you say? 3,000?
6,250.
6,250. Okay. And that's 1/4 of the student population?
Roughly, yeah.
Roughly. I mean, they're never going to get
it's a little bit more than 1/4, but we've needed a lot of devices this year for a lot of obvious reasons. And so we were buying a few extra this year to replenish some losses.
Okay, that's good. But you're working with, kind of 25% of the student population. So you're replenishing 25% every year.
Yeah, we want to make sure every student has a device that's no more than 4 years old. That's the goal.
Gotcha. All right. Counselor Davila, Counselor Letterman, any comment, any questions for Paul Foster from the school?
I think, I think he might have just answered the question I was going to ask you, because I remember voting on this last year, I think it was, or 2 years ago. So this is going to be an annual request from you guys?
Yeah, we basically enter a new 4-year lease agreement every year. And so it's just kind of something we're doing on an annual basis.
Right, so that we can update and keep up to date with the technology. Okay, and just out of curiosity, how much does that cost roughly?
Oof, I should have had the order in front of me, but I think it's about 4.9 million is the lease agreement for this year.
Okay, and you will really impress me if you're able to tell me how much we're saving.
Say that again?
You will really impress me if you're able to tell me how much money we're saving.
By doing the lease, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not, excuse me, we're not saving a tremendous amount over the multiple years, but with the lease for any given year, we're only paying 25% of the cost in that fiscal year. But obviously we have 4 leases running concurrently, right? So we're making 4 lease payments each year because we have the lease payments from the last 3 years that we're still paying on. So we spread the cost out for each given lease, but really it was more of a, moving to that 4-year lease model was really just about consistency and making sure we're continually refreshing the devices, but it wasn't necessarily a lot of cost savings.
Thank you, Paul.
Sure.
Thank you, Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Counselor Davila. The 4.9 million number you just used, is that just for this lease tonight, or is that for the other 3 as well?
That's just this year's. Yeah, but we only pay 25% of that in the coming fiscal year.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Counselor
Counsel-
Letterman, got a green
Uh,
box?
Quick question for Mr. Foster. So have you already awarded, you're using we're leasing through the same company we did last year?
We are, yeah, we use a contract through the MHEC, the Mass Higher Ed Consortium.
So the lease has already been awarded. We're just approving the 4 years.
No, it hasn't been awarded because we can't, I mean, obviously we had to wait, we're waiting for this vote. So we're obviously in talks and we have the pricing. So they've given us the amortization tables and such, but we haven't actually formalized the contract or anything.
Right. But you've selected
Yeah.
the company already. Okay, thank you.
We've been using HP Financial Services and they've been a pretty good partner for us.
Understood. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay, any other questions? We got a couple members of the finance team. We got a couple counselors. They both had questions. We got Tracy. I don't know if you're still there, Tracy. Everybody pretty much
I'm
has
here.
had a chance to talk. So we're moving to the point of
Vote.
Counselor Villa or Counselor Whitfield making a motion to accept these orders on this finance committee agenda tonight.
I make a motion.
Excellent. Do I hear a second?
Second. Sorry, I was muted. Second.
That's all right. Motion made by Counselor Whitfield, seconded by Counselor Davila. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Don't hear anybody. Thank you, Lindsay, for covering the bases on everything here and knowing the scoop. Thanks, Melanie, for coming, and thanks, Paul, for the good explanation on your item.
Thank you, Tim, for running the meeting for me.
You're welcome. Anytime. All right, guys, thanks very much.
Good night.
Good night.
See you soon.